Hello, it's Justin Woodall, your trusted Athens real estate advisor. Today I want to talk to you about a problem that sometimes buyers and sellers ask, how do we accomplish this? How do I buy a home and sell a home at the same time? So it really depends on your situation. If you're financially able to go ahead and purchase a home before selling your own, that makes things a lot easier. You go buy, you move into it, then you sell your existing home. Everyone's not in that position, and a lot of times I hear from people, well, I need to sell my house and use the money I get from it to go into the next purchase. So how do we go about doing that? There's a couple of ways. I'll tell you the way it's done most often, and then a couple of other options that you might have. So most of the time, the way it happens is simply you close them both on the same day. So what happens is you put your house on the market, find a buyer for it and in the meantime, while your house is on the market, you're scoping out other areas, neighborhoods that you like, homes that you like. But really, until your home goes under contract, it's hard to get another one under contract. And the reason for that is just because the market's doing well, and most sellers say, well, if your home's under contract, I'm interested in an offer from you because I know yours is likely to close, mine is likely to close. If you just say, hey, we just put it on the market, we don't have a buyer yet, they're going to be less interested in your offer. So it works best if you can have a contract on your house, and say your contract is closing in 60 days. And it's going to take about 30 days for you to finance a loan. Then you've got 30 days that you can go find a house. And if you've been scoping out some areas, have some neighborhoods you like, you know some kind of what you can get for your money, then it makes it a little easier, and then you go out and you make an offer contingent upon your house successfully closing. So if a seller gets that contract and they say it's closing August 31st and they want to close my house August 31st, they feel pretty good about that, and there's some definiteness to that, and they'll be open to that offer. So assuming we get it under contract, we have that contingency in there that if for some reason yours falls through, you're not on the hook to buy this one. That way you don't end up with two houses. So we protect you in that regard. So now you basically go to closing and close them both at the same time. So it gets a little bit challenging when you get down to that closing date a few days before, because in most cases in Georgia, the buyer takes possession at closing. So if you're possessing your new house at closing and your buyer is possessing your house at closing, that means you've got to be out. So what do you do with your stuff? Where do you go? And most clients that we work with, they either store stuff at a family member's or put stuff in storage, what little bit they can, and then they load the bulk of it on a truck. So they load up the day before, they sleep in their house that night, they load their bed that morning, they go to closing, and then that night they're unloading at their new house. That's the way a lot of people do it. It sounds crazy, it sounds frantic, it sounds stressful, and it can be, but it works for a lot of people. So that's the way we see it happen most of the time. The other option is you can negotiate for either possession prior to closing on the home you're purchasing or possession after closing on the home you're selling. And that makes things work a lot smoother and a lot easier, but both parties have to be agreeable to it. So to give you an example of how that would work, the house you're selling, you negotiate that your buyer would take possession 3 days after closing instead of the date of closing. So then once you close, you have the funds, you don't have to move out, you go to closing, you have the funds, you close on your new house, then you're able to have 3 days to move into your new house, you leave this one clean and empty. Not all buyers will agree on that because they think, well, what if they scratch the walls or scratch the floors or they leave it dirty, then I have no recourse when it's time for me to move in. So everyone doesn't agree, but if they do agree, sometimes that can be a solution to not having such a crazy day on closing. So hope that's been helpful. Either way, we've helped a lot of clients buy and sell at the same time. So we know the options, we know how to navigate it. So if you find yourself, think that needs to be you, that's your situation, reach out to us, we'll walk you through every step of the way. And if we can do anything for you, friend or family member, coworker, let us know.